This is Transformers 96 here with another video where I'm going to be talking about some new show and stuff from Hot Toys. So yeah, so kind of random things that I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the movie Deadpool as well as the Batman vs Superman Armored Batman. So yeah, so these I kind of have the same basic feeling for both of these figures. So it is appropriate to talk about them in the same video. Obviously, they are from pretty two different, pretty different type of things. So yeah, the Deadpool that was shown was very exciting because it is so impressive that they were able to make it. Obviously, with a Fox X-Men product, there's mainly no chance of them making it. If it's Wolverine, there might be a chance. However, any other characters are extremely hit or miss, or really there actually isn't any of the other characters that they do. So it is impressive that they were able to make this figure, and I am quite happy about it. So let's talk about it. As you can see, the actual figure looks really nice. I think that you obviously have a solid body sculpt underneath the suit, and then a suit over top on the top of it. It looks like a thicker material. This doesn't look like the Superman or Vision type of material that we're used to seeing. It looks harder, which does worry me about articulation. I would imagine that this would be relatively hindered in articulation just based on the look of it. Possibly, obviously, you get some good poses in these pictures, but you really can't trust the pictures because they really can go extreme on the costume to take these pictures, and the actual figure might not actually have the capability to do all of this stuff. So I wouldn't take these pictures as a clear-cut sign of what he can do. I think that this is the extremist that he can possibly do, and I think that there will be a slightly limited figure on articulation. I think that the Sideshow Deadpool, which came out, the comic version, will probably have the superior of articulation comparing to the Hot Toys one. However, the Hot Toys one looks amazing. It definitely, obviously, fully represents Deadpool from the movie. The movie is not out yet. As of filming this, it comes out in like 6 days, so very excited for it. And the figure does look really nice. This is my favorite feature of it, the fact that he comes with interchangeable eyes. I think that's an excellent way to convey expression. Obviously, with a Deadpool figure, instead of giving us, like one or two heads that have slightly different expression, we'll get a full set of different eyes that have different expressions. And obviously, you can mix and match the eyes, so you really just have like an endless array of expressions that you can give him, which is really cool, and I am very excited for that. It's my favorite function of the actual figure. He is on pre-order for $235. Fair price, I would say. I mean, he comes with a larger style base, which is quite nice. A good amount of hands, obviously the eyes, a lot of extra eyes, and then a few different weapons. So I think the price basically matches what you're getting. You're not getting it for a great deal, or you're not getting ripped off for the price. I am pretty excited about the hands that he comes with. Looks like he comes with a lot of good gesturing ones. Maybe one giving the middle finger would have been good too. However, I'm not quite sure if there's some issue with making a toy that has that, so I'm not going to fault Hasbro for not doing that. Although I think that would definitely represent the character, and I can imagine he'll do that a couple times in the movie. The base is quite interesting that we get one of those dynamic flight stand bases for Deadpool. I really don't think that's necessary, but it's cool. Obviously, if you have the space to display it, it'll be quite nice, but I can see a lot of people not being able to display them on that just because it's too space consuming. So it would have been nice. I would have been fine with a regular small base. However, I guess it's cool that he comes with a bigger one. He comes with his katanas, his just like a knife, and then I don't know what those two little smaller blades are. I'm not quite sure. And then two handguns. Looks like he doesn't come with very many weapons. Without seeing the movie, I can't fault it though, because in the trailers, at least, he doesn't use anything but those. We'll see, though. Maybe in the movie he does use a different weapon that they don't include, which is a shame. But at the moment, I don't see any inaccuracy as far as that. But it does look like a really solid figure. Now, my issue with it is just a personal thing, basically, and it's the same issue I have with the Armored Batman, is that this and the Armored Batman are figures that really are up my alley and everything. However, I just have no excitement for either of them, which is why I'm considering not getting either of them, but I am also at the same time considering getting both. I don't know why, but there's there's a lack of excitement that I have when I look at this figure, and I think that it just has to do with the fact that I have the Sideshow one, which is very similar as far as design. The character design, obviously, they've stuck very close to the comics, so the Sideshow one, which is based on the comics, looks quite similar to it. The Sideshow one comes with a lot more accessories other than the swappable eyes. So I feel like anything that I would want to pose this figure in, I could just go and do right now with my Sideshow one, and that's it. So I think that there is just a lack of excitement with this figure, because I have a quite similar figure. However, it is so special to get a movie Deadpool figure that I do still really want it, and it will look great with the Sideshow one. We'll have to see, though. The biggest test to find out whether I'm going to buy this or not is going to be when I see the movie. Obviously, I'm extremely excited for the movie, and either I'll see the movie and I'll be pushed over the edge and absolutely dying for this figure, or I'll see it and I'll be like, you know what, any pose that I want to put this figure in, I'll just do it with my Sideshow one, and I'll be set to go. So we'll have to see. It really depends whether I'm going to get this figure on how I feel about the figure after seeing the movie, so I'll know pretty soon here what I'm going to do with this figure, I think. Then the next one to talk about is the Armored Batman. Obviously, super unique to actually see an armored version of Batman in the movies. I think that's pretty neat. It looks like a good figure. It looks like it's a regular body sculpt underneath with a regular cloth undersuit, and then with armor bits on top of it. Looking really cool, very bulky, very menacing. Based on these poses, it looks like it'll probably be hindered in articulation. The thigh right there looks like it has good articulation, but I can imagine that the torso will be extremely limited, and we'll have to see. I bet he's going to be quite clunky, basically, because he's so, kind of large, and he might have an issue with being able to stand in some poses that you put him in. I can't imagine you want to do anything super dynamic with this. However, I would imagine that there's a decent amount of poses of him fighting. I really don't see any pictures of him with his arms up very high, so possibly it is limited in articulation on the shoulder area, which is a shame because you definitely want to put him in some punching poses with Superman, which I'm not quite sure if this is going to be able to achieve. This is about as high up as it goes, and that's not very far if you look at the angle that the shoulder's at, so that is definitely a shame. The design of the armor looks really good. I like the scratches in it. It looks worn. It looks kind of used. I like the colors. I think the belt over the chest area looks really good. I've seen people complain about the neck because they, in a side-by-side shot with this one in the movie image, you can see that he does have a larger neck up top. However, you really can't fault the figure for that because you need the articulation. So, I don't have any issue that this neck piece doesn't attach to the jaw or anything, so that's not an issue for me. A lot of people are complaining about the face sculpt, the actual mouthpiece, which, let's get a better image of it, or see if we can get kind of close up, I guess, just using this image. So as you can see, you do get two mouths. One's just kind of slightly open, and then one's open and looking very angry and mean. As you can see, I think that they don't look perfect. When you look side by side, it looks like there's more lines in here. A lot of people are saying that this looks like Sylvester Stallone in Batman's costume rather than Ben Affleck, which I do see. When I see side by side comparison shots, I do definitely see that this is not quite accurate. However, without those side by side shots, I think it looks fine. So, it depends how picky you are, basically, on whether you're going to have an issue with the mouthpieces or not. For me, I'm not too, it doesn't really matter too much for me, so I wouldn't be too concerned about it. However, I can see a lot of people being quite put off about the mouthpieces. I do think that the ones that come with the regular Batman look better than this, I will say. He does come with the grenade launcher. I would imagine that this armored Batman is going to use that in the movie when he is armored up, considering the Mattel one also comes with that weapon. Looking quite nice, and does come with two grenades. He comes with, I guess this is like a... It looks like the thing in the Arkham games that he shoots, and one line goes behind him and one line goes in front of him, and he kind of swings on it. It looks like that. So I'm not 100% sure that that's what it is, but I would imagine that it's some form of a way to get him from point A to point B, basically. He comes with a few interchangeable hands. It looks like he just comes with the basics. You got your fists, your relaxed palms, and then hands to hold the other weapons. I don't see any expression hands, but it is hard to tell. He comes with a standard Man of Steel base, which does really intrigue me. I like the fact that it does have an extendable Batman symbol. I think that's an interesting idea. So I am very excited to see how that is in person. Yeah. So this figure, again, like I said, is like the Deadpool one. It's right up my alley. You know, an armored Batman sounds awesome, and it should be something that I'd be super excited for. I'm not excited for this. I don't know what it is. Just it doesn't get me super pumped for it. I don't know why. It seems like just a neat looking costume, but not a figure that I need to have. I have the regular Batman on pre-order, and I'd rather have that one just so that I have a classic representation of Batman in my collection. Obviously, this is an armor that's going to be used in the middle of the movie, and then that's it. We'll probably never see it again ever. So this is definitely not an iconic piece. It's definitely going to be quite nice when taking pictures of him fighting Superman, because really when he wears this is when he fights Superman. So taking some images of him fighting Superman in this costume will be quite nice. However, I think that just as a representation of Batman, the best one to get would just be the classic version, which I am going to get. So we'll see. At the moment, I don't plan to get this. Again, like Deadpool, when I see the movie, that's going to be my true test as to whether I'm going to get this or not. Because either I'll see the movie and I'll be like, that was just badass, I need the figure, or I'll just be like, you know what, I'm fine with the regular Batman. He did the coolest stuff when he was just in his regular suit. So we'll see. Obviously, based on the movie's releases and my reactions to the movies, and specifically the costumes in the movies, will be my deciding factor on whether to get these figures or not. This armored Batman is $150. Seems like a reasonable price, or sorry, $250, which is a reasonable price, you know, basically on par with what Hot Toys asks for figures. Obviously, this one is quite bulky, so I am fine with that slightly extra price tag. Alright, there you go. That's my thoughts on the newly shown Hot Toys figures of Armored Batman and movie Deadpool. Thanks so much for watching, and tell me what you guys think in the comments.